A train derails in the middle of a small northern Kentucky town, causing some frightening moments throughout the day. The latest on the investigation and the cleanup.
We have a job to do, and a lot of times people don't like what we do.
A Central Kentucky police officer talks to us about a threatening letter he says targeted him.
This is WKYT News at 6.
What caused a train derailment in Pendleton County that sent nearly 24 cars off the tracks? Tonight, we're learning some new details about the investigation.
That train derailed this morning in downtown Falmouth around Woodson Street. Investigators say the train was carrying some dangerous chemicals. Some people nearby were forced to evacuate or shelter in place for several hours. Officer Don flew over the derailment in Sky First this afternoon, and this video gives you a clear view of all of those cars off the tracks. We have top story team coverage tonight, beginning with Sean Moody live in Falmouth. Sean?
Hey there, Amber. CSX said they will be the ones investigating the accident. So far, no indication of what actually caused it. The emergency management director said this is a pretty straight stretch of track here. Now, it's been a long day for first responders around here and for the people who live in Falmouth. That train was heading from Cincinnati to Atlanta when 23 cars derailed right here in the middle of Falmouth. Now, we know now that there was no hazard. For a lot of people here in Falmouth, it was either a waiting game.
They're telling me I can't even go back in town now.
Or a detour game.
If you go out here, it's about 12 miles out.
Either way, it was a headache.
All right, just come on, get out of town.
People who wanted to get back to their homes couldn't. No one was allowed into the city. Emergency management told people who were already in their homes to shelter in place and turn off their AC units while they tried to figure out if any hazardous materials had spilled out of that train.
That's how severe this is.
Christian Stewart was worried about the pets at her house. She was able to get in touch with someone who was nearby.
Get the dogs, cats, get them all loaded in your car, get my ACs turned off, and get the out of there.
I don't have room in my car.
Then leave the cats, get the dogs.
After several hours, the hazmat team finally gave the all clear. No dangerous chemicals, just a big mess to clean up. And there still is a big mess. There was a power outage here in Falmouth. There's no word yet on exactly how many people have had the power restored to them. US 27 here is now open, but several of the streets back a couple of blocks behind me where those tracks are still kind of full of equipment while I try and work that mess. CSX said it could take a while to clean this mess up. Certainly days, perhaps weeks. Live in Falmouth, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Sean, thank you. It has been a long day for those folks. Southern Elementary School in Falmouth is about a mile from the derailment site. So as a precaution, emergency crews decided to evacuate the school and take students to Pendleton County High School. Sabira Rayford talked to some parents who told us there were some tense moments. She continues our top story team coverage.
High school's regular checkout, Southern, picture ID, A through L.
It's only 3 days into the school year, and all day long, parents were flooding Pendleton County High School to pick up their kids.
When I woke up to it, I was shocked. I didn't know something like this could actually happen in our small town.
Pendleton County Superintendent Dr. Anthony Strong says his office was contacted by emergency management early this morning. He says they told him a train had derailed near Southern Elementary.
It's about 11:30 when we got the call saying that a precautionary measure, they want us to evacuate the kids and move the kids. So at that time we made that move.
I got a call after they transferred them up here, but they said that the kids were fine. Everybody was fine, so I picked her up as soon as I could. As parents pulled into this lot, they say they were relieved to know that their kids were safe, but some say they are fearful for what's next.
We had to park our vehicle on one side of the Licking River on the north side and actually walk to our home, which is almost on the south side of Falmouth.
Kelly Hutcherson says he had a hard time getting out of his home, but his main concern was getting to his kids.
I have some that's in Southern Elementary, and then also I have one that's in Pendleton County High School. And to try to get a hold of an official was just kind of cumbersome.
The Northern Kentucky Hazmat team has cleared the scene, and Hutchison and his family are now safe to return home.
You don't expect that to happen on the third day of school, but happy to say our crisis plans were in place. Everything went like it was supposed to, and credit to the staff in our schools and transportation to making that move very quickly.
In Pendleton County, Sabir Rayford, WKYT.
The American Red Cross is helping at the derailment scene, and Flower Creek Church has set up a shelter for anyone needing a place to stay. Now, keep checking WKYT.com for the very latest on the train derailment. We'll also have updates on the WKYT News app.
New tonight, state police are asking for help finding 2 more suspects in a Lee County murder case. Police say they're looking for 39-year-old Jay Shoemaker and 22-year-old Reagan Griffin, both of Beattyville. Investigators say they were involved in the murder of Billy Rourke. Police say Rourke and James Brown were both shot to death Thursday night in separate incidents. They found Rourke's body on Friday and Brown's body on Saturday, both in Lee County. Police have already arrested 4 people in connection to the murders. He says he's being threatened just for doing his job, and tonight a Central Kentucky officer is talking about it with us. State police say they're now investigating a letter sent to Bergen's mayor. They say it contains threats against the city's only acting police officer and his family. Hillary Thornton is tracking the investigation.
The town of Bergen, by all standards, a small town. Casey Rucker, the city's only active police officer, with the chief out on medical leave.
I have to provide for my family, okay? Just like everybody else does when they go to a job. Just my job involves a lot more different things, and it involves the law.
That job, the reason why the lone officer says his life was threatened.
I'm assuming that, you know, somebody's retaliating because they've received a citation or, you know, they've been arrested for something.
The letter coming through the United States Postal Service to the mayor at City Hall, telling Mayor Hensley, quote, "You had better rein in your new immature cop." Then on down in that letter, threatening to cause harm to that officer.
Basically dragging me through a cornfield, and if I woke up, I wouldn't know what happened. It's terrible that I get my life threatened just because I'm doing my job.
It is a job Rucker says he loves doing, and even after getting this threatening letter, says he does not second guess his career choice one bit.
This is what I'm here to do, and I'm going to do my job to the best of my ability.
A job he is happy to do, but says is ridiculous that it causes not just his life to be threatened, but also his family.
My wife and my child's 3. She has no clue, but my wife, she has to constantly watch her back as well as mine.
A bit of relief for Rucker in knowing state police are not only actively investigating the threat, but are also making sure their brother stays safe.
KSP's going to be here in town for quite a while now. They're coming in, and they're going to, you know, they're going to have my back.
In Bergen, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Rucker says Mercer County Sheriff's deputies are also aware of the threat and will be keeping an eye on the situation.
We're keeping a close eye on the threat for heavy rain and flash flooding as more storms pop up across parts of Kentucky tonight. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look now at your forecast.
Yeah, stuff that's been out there today has been rather isolated in nature. We've certainly got the steam, but over the next several days, the threat for thunderstorms will increase, and that'll carry us into the weekend and likely into much of next week. We look outside right now, and if you've been out at any point today, you look up at the clouds, and all of a sudden you got to kind of check and make sure you're still in Kentucky, right? Those clouds have a tropical look out there. Look at the camera out at Jackson into southeastern Kentucky. We had a thunderstorm roll through there, and look at the fog clinging to the mountains after the rain, even as skies begin to brighten up a little bit. That's why the current heat index in Jackson is only 79 degrees. 94 is what it feels like in Lexington. We're stuck into the upper 80s in most of the area for actual temperatures, though that heat index certainly making it feel steamier than that. Watch that thunderstorm into southeastern Kentucky, at least some scattered stuff. London, hey, maybe part of town will get in on a drop or two over the next little bit. There's that thunderstorm around Jackson lifting its way onto the north. This is the area that was worked over a few minutes ago. That's put out a little boundary of some rain-cooled air, firing up some rain in Salyersville along the Mountain Parkway towards Stanton and Clay City. Northern parts of Bath County, Mount Olivet, and still one lone little cell north of Cynthiana. How about the Bluegrass region? Yeah, not so much out there right now. Future radar showing how many of us may have a mainly dry evening outside of a little pop-up shower or thunderstorm, though we do it all over again tomorrow with additional thunderstorms that will go up. And when I come back in a few minutes, we'll focus on a forecast that has a tropical connection. I'll show you why that is the case in a few.
We have some new information tonight about a Lexington woman police say was attacked in her home last week. Today, family members told us the 80-year-old was stabbed 15 times, and they say she is lucky to be alive. The attack happened early Friday morning at her home on Dogwood Drive. Doctors hope to transfer the woman from the hospital to Cardinal Hill later this week. Lexington police say they're questioning David Williams in the case. Police arrested him on unrelated charges and say charges in the case are pending lab results.
It was a tough first day back to school for students and teachers at Booker T. Washington Elementary in Lexington after losing a former student and classmate. 11-year-old DeShannon Davis drowned last weekend after falling into a pond at a Lexington cemetery. We spoke with the school's family resource officer this afternoon, who told us more about the young man. Monica Hall can describe DeShannon Davis in one word.
Wonderful. Not your typical child, meaning that we could learn a lot from him. He was always happy. If you were not in the best mood when you come in, you were when you talked to him.
Hall says DeShannon had a routine, making several stops every morning when he got to school.
Family resource was one, just to speak, to say, how are you doing this morning, a hug.
This special relationship went beyond the school year for Monica and DeShannon. 5 years ago, the two started writing letters to each other during summer vacations.
It's always nice for children to get mail, but it's also nice for adults to get mail and it not be a bill.
Last Thursday, Monica received what would be the final letter DeShannon would ever write.
Dear Miss Hall, I am so happy that you're staying with Booker T. I can't wait to see you again. Sorry it took me a long time to write back. Love, DeShannon. And then there's a little note on the bottom that says open up, and then he drew some pictures. And then he made sure on the picture to say look on the back as I read the letter.
While Hall says she will cherish her letters from DeShannon forever, her final letter will always remain unopened and unread by her friend, the young man with an old soul. As heartbreaking as it is to lose someone too soon, Hall says she's better for having known him.
Typically, the adults are the ones that are making or would make the impact, but in this case, he made the impact on us.
Today would have been DeShannon's first day of the 6th grade at Leestown Middle School. Grief counselors are available at both schools to help students deal with the loss of their former classmate.
Tonight we are learning more about a fire that damaged a store in downtown Richmond. Investigators say they believe yesterday's fire at the Family Dollar on East Main Street was set on purpose. They say a clerk smelled lighter fluid before the store filled with smoke. No one was injured in the fire. One woman says her fiance worked in the store and has now lost his job because of the fire.
They said that the damage inside, they will not be able to reopen the store. He's actually out of a job over it because when they put the fire out, there was actually a lot of water damage on the inside as well. It was leaking out of the side of the building yesterday.
Police have not made any arrests in the case. They say they're still trying to look at surveillance video, which may provide some clues.
A mother's effort to build a new playground for special needs children in Harrodsburg just received a lot of help. The update coming up next.
A new school year began today for thousands of students around central Kentucky.
Don't you know they love that summer vacation's over? Poor things. And that included more than 40,000 students in Fayette County. Superintendent Manny Koch rode the bus with students going to Northern Elementary School this morning. And 2 new elementary schools opened today, Garrett Morgan and Coventry Oak. School leaders say the new schools will help with overcrowding issues.
Few things have as strong of an impact as the size of a school, and so by these new 2 schools we have been able to alleviate a great deal of overcrowding.
Along with the superintendent, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray and Lexington Police Chief Mark Barnard were among the city leaders who rode school buses with students this morning.
We have an update tonight on efforts to build a special needs playground in Mercer County. As we first told you last month, Crimson Claycomb has been leading the effort to build the playground at Anderson Dean Park in honor of her 5-year-old daughter. She's been raising money for the playground, which will cost about $250,000. Harrodsburg city leaders now say they'll pay $50,000 towards construction of the playground. That brings the total amount raised or pledged toward the project to $70,000.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, if you didn't get to take a beach vacation this summer, the beach is coming to us. Minus the beach, you got all the nice weather that is out there that you would typically get along the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to roll on over the next several days. Live look outside with some of those tropical clouds that are showing up as we look toward the northern horizon, where we've had a couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms over the past little bit. We continue to hold in the upper 80s, but it feels like it's in the mid and in a few cases upper 90s Feels like numbers when you combine the humidity with the actual temperature. Put those two together and the sweat factor continues to increase. Starting to see a little scattered shower thunderstorm going up here into parts of southern Kentucky as well. The overall trend has been for the isolated storm action here, a little shower down the road and a lot of dry hours in between. Check out London right now. Downtown London in pretty good shape. Get out toward Parker Road around Sublimity City. And a couple of raindrops showing up right on top of Interstate 75. A little steadier burst of some rain earlier on top of Jackson into Breathitt County. That's sending out a little shot of some rain-cooled air. Folks down into Montgomery County dealing with some showers and isolated rumbles of thunder as they get ready to kick off a new school day tomorrow. We go to the northwest on the Mountain Parkway. Showers, thunder showers trying to pop from Clay City down towards Stanton. Isolated stuff, northern Kentucky. Lexington Metro, forget about it. Nothing that is out there. And most of central Kentucky into the southern parts of the area down into Tennessee, not seeing very much at all. Let's jump into the Gulf states and look at this big spin that is showing up here. It's a lot of tropical moisture that'll continue to lift to the north. You like today's weather, chances are you're going to like tomorrow's forecast. Back into the upper 80s. It'll feel a lot hotter than that with the humidity and the threat for some thunderstorms that will go up. And just like today, just like yesterday, it's not going to rain everywhere. It's not going to rain all the time. Later Friday and especially into Saturday, we're going to see the heavy rain threat beginning to ramp up as thunderstorms become a little more widespread. We were just showing you all that moisture that is across the Gulf states into the Gulf of Mexico. Well, over the next week, really, that moisture in pieces comes at us with a threat for heavy rainfall from the Gulf into the Ohio Valley. Here's a snapshot of one computer model and what it thinks will happen in terms of rainfall over the next week. Pretty hefty totals. Now, those models jump back and forth a little bit. Some will take that corridor a little farther north, a little farther west, a little farther south, east. Some will kind of smack us around a little bit. Over the next week, the potential is there for some folks across Kentucky to get too much in the way of water. That has been the theme of the summer. It's a theme as we roll into the middle of August, and the kiddos are now back to school, so the thunderstorm threat, unfortunately, just will not go away.
If only the ocean and the beach was just out there, it'd be perfect.
We missed that part. Well, we do have a little pond that's out back in the weather garden, so we'll throw some sand around it.
Kentucky Ocean.
Yeah.
There you go.
Didn't really cut it, though. Thanks, Chris.
All right, Brian, we see some new faces today in our high school football previews.
Yes, Bath County looks entirely different from a year ago, but they still plan on winning. And what in the world does DBU stand for? Football Cats will let you know next in sports. One of the deepest units on this year's football squad for the Cats, the defensive backs. They're young and they are brash. Of the 8 guys returning with the most snaps under their belt, there's just 2 seniors. A trio of sophomores lead this group who are now calling themselves DBU.
We DBU out here, you know, DBU University. Like, we take pride in that. No
LBU. LBU, man.
Come on.
LBU.
Nobody say it.
LBU.
Nobody says LBU.
LBU.
Nobody says LBU. It's all about DBU.
I think our group is pretty confident. I mean, like we said, like going into the season, we're tired of the talking. We're tired of everyone saying, "Oh, this is the best group on the defense." Like, we're tired of all that. We're ready to show that we're the best group on the defense. We're ready to show that we're secondary to be reckoned with in the SEC.
Just 24 days now from the start of the UK football season. 24, the number worn by current Cat Blake McLean and former Wildcats Dickie Lyons Sr., David Johns, and Anthony Wajda, former DBU guy from a long time ago. Last season, C.J. Conrad's first career TD pass came against Missouri, 24 yards. And UK has had 24 All-Americans, including 2-time All-Americans, Bay Perilli, Bob Gaines, Steve Meilinger, and Lou Michaels. Go to WKYT.com to see all of the countdown numbers. A newcomer to the 27 teams in 27 days previews takes us to the land of Owingsville. Here are the Bath County Wildcats. Last year, Johnny Pointer helped bring winning back to Owingsville. Bath County went 5-6, which was the win total the 2 previous seasons. But gone are names like Swartz, McFarland, and Richards, and some big boys. So speed is the name of the game for Bath County this season.
Because we're a lot smaller, we're a lot faster than we were last year because we had a lot of bigger people, which we were stronger, so we can push bigger people. But since we're faster, we can run fast plays on the outside.
He's putting in a whole lot more new stuff again.
like I said, everything's always changing, always getting better.
Offensively is where things get drastically different.
I mean, I think an advantage we have is like people just don't know what to expect out of us.
You can say that again because the Wildcats are going to throw the football with Ty Rogers and a host of receivers.
I've got a guy playing quarterback, and he hasn't played quarterback since he was in middle school. But he's eager to learn. He's doing what I ask him to do.
That's where we see our advantage. We got a lot of guys with a lot of speed, and last year we didn't have that. Some young guys are stepping up. They've gotten stronger. They've gotten faster.
And we got two positions, two guys at every position, receivers and everything. A lot of guys are going to be getting involved. He says it's not going to be really one superstar.
Bath County has only 4 home games and will spend the entire month of September on the road. But this team continues to overcome the odds.
These 30 right here, I just can't talk enough about how hard they've worked for me and for this community to be able to have a successful program.
And they're your Bath County Wildcats. Tomorrow, we'll talk about Tate's Creek. Amber, Andrea, back to you.
A final check of your first alert forecast is next.
Then on the CBS Evening News, the incredible story of an Olympic athlete who once swam in a sea to escape the war in Syria.
Chris, it looks like more of the same coming up.
It pretty much is. This is not a recording. That I can verify. Next 7 days look a lot similar to the past 7 days. Daily threat for some thunderstorms. Best chances this weekend into the first part of next week. Outside of the storms, it's steamy. It's going to be upper 80s on thermometers for many of us, but it's going to feel like mid-90s over the next few days, courtesy of the humidity.
It's hot for all these high school football teams getting in all this practice before.
Well, yeah, we've got scrimmages tomorrow and Friday, and then next week we begin the first week of the season. And how many heat delays, we'll find out how many.
Love this time of year. See you at 11.